Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the extraordinary life of Lionel Messi. We're going to explore exactly how a physically disadvantaged kid from Rosario, Argentina, overcame some seriously unimaginable medical and financial odds to become the most decorated player in the history of professional football. But more than just a sports story, this is really a masterclass in how perceived weaknesses can actually be the exact things that forge unparalleled greatness. Okay, let's kick things off with a number that is just staggering. 91. That's the total number of goals Lionel Messi scored in a single calendar year back in 2012. It's an absolute record that immediately frames his jaw-dropping dominance on the pitch. To put that into perspective, he smashed Gerd Muller's long-standing record, racking up these 91 goals across all competitions for both Barcelona and the Argentine national team. I mean, it's a statistic that honestly borders on the absurd, proving he was an offensive force the world had simply never seen before. But that towering achievement is wild when you contrast it with his physical reality just a few years prior. At age 11, Messi stood at exactly 4 foot 4 inches tall. He was always the shortest kid in school, the shortest on his local youth teams, and despite showing this incredible, innate promise, scoring literally hundreds of goals for his youth squad, the Machine of 87, he was facing a severe physical hurdle that almost ended his dream of playing pro football before it even got started. Which brings us to his first major trial. Chapter 1, A Diagnosis and a Dream, Overcoming the Medical Hurdle. So back in 1999, his doctor, Diego Schwartzstein, officially diagnosed Messi with growth hormone deficiency, or GHD. Basically, this is a condition where the pituitary gland just fails to release enough growth hormone. Without intense medical intervention, Dr. Schwartzstein predicted Messi would max out at a height of about 4 feet 7 inches. And it wasn't just about height or athletic potential. Without treatment, GHD can actually cause poor vision, skin issues, and severely lower immunity. To really grasp how incredibly rare this was, Dr. Schwartzstein put it into perspective. He pointed out that while something like diabetes affects maybe 7% of the global population, Messi's specific severity of GHD, that affects 1 in every 20 million people. He wasn't just a small kid who needed a little help growing. He was battling a highly specific, super rare medical condition that demanded immediate, drastic action. And then came the financial hit, which was just massive for his family. The required treatment meant daily injections of human growth hormone, and that came with a staggering price tag of $1,500 a month. Keep in mind, his dad was a steel worker, his mom was a part-time cleaner. They managed to scrape by for a couple of years using work benefits, but once his local club, Newell's Old Boys, backed out of their promise to help pay, that $1,500 became a brick wall his working-class family just couldn't climb over on their own. That desperate financial reality meant they had to look across the ocean for salvation. Chapter 2, The Famous Paper Napkin, A Desperate Gamble in Barcelona. The pressure was seriously building. In September of 2000, his family manages to arrange a trial in Spain with FC Barcelona. A 13-year-old Messi steps onto the pitch, scores 5 goals, and completely wows first-team director Carlos Rexach. But the Barcelona board of directors hesitated. Signing a foreign 13-year-old was basically unheard of at the time, and the club wasn't sure about the risk. Fast forward to December, Messi's dad is incredibly anxious and issues a strict ultimatum. That leads to a remarkably hasty, yet completely historic, meeting on December 14th at a local tennis club. Terrified they were going to lose this once-in-a-generation talent to a rival club, Carlos Rexach literally grabbed a paper napkin and scribbled out this exact legally binding promise. He agreed, under his own responsibility, to sign Lionel Messi. It was a completely improvised moment of sheer desperation, making it arguably the most valuable piece of trash in sports history. But that signed napkin? That was the ironclad guarantee the family needed to know Barcelona would cover those costly medical treatments. And honestly, from that single napkin, his entire trajectory shifted. Messi relocates to Barcelona in 2001, diligently taking his daily injections, and completely conquers that medical hurdle, finishing the therapy at age 14 and reaching 5'7". He rockets through the famed La Masia Academy. Actually, a senior player named Ludovic Juli recalled this one training session where 16-year-old Messi just destroyed the veteran defense, straight up calling him an alien. Messi makes his awe-inspiring first-team debut at 16 and officially signs his first pro contract in 2004. As his career exploded into unprecedented success, we entered an era-defining battle. Chapter 3, The Defining Rivalry, Pushing the Limits of Greatness. We absolutely love rivalries, right? Because they give us this classic matchup of opposing philosophies. Pundits compare it to Ollie versus Frazier, On one side, you've got Messi's 1.70-meter frame. His style is all about magical playmaking, close control dribbling, and a general reputation for being pretty humble. And then directly across from him is Cristiano Ronaldo, a towering 1.87-meter build, relying on sheer explosive athleticism, blistering speed, theatrical confidence, and just this uncanny ability to perform under the highest pressure imaginable. If you want to see how they pushed each other to the absolute limit, just look at the Ballon d'Or, the ultimate individual prize in world football. They practically monopolized the award for over a decade. But as their intertwining careers played out, Messi ultimately pulled ahead in this fierce rivalry, securing an astonishing, record-breaking 8 Ballon d'Or awards compared to Ronaldo's 5. And when we break down their direct head-to-head matchups, especially during those insanely intense El Clasico matches between Barcelona and Real Madrid, Messi definitely holds the edge. In competitive club matches against each other, Messi bagged 15 wins to Ronaldo's 10, alongside 9 draws. That sheer offensive dominance is also reflected right there in the scoring efficiency, with Messi capturing 6 European golden shoes to Ronaldo's 4. But even with all that unparalleled club success and the individual records, a massive weight still hung over him, carrying the Argentine national team and living up to Diego Maradona. Bringing us to Chapter 4, Conquering the World, the Ultimate Boon. For a long time, Messi's international career was just an agonizing roller coaster. We're talking a devastating World Cup final loss to Germany in 2014. Then, by 2016, after losing 3 consecutive finals, the heartbreak was literally so intense he briefly retired from the national team altogether. But his return sparked an absolutely legendary redemption arc. In 2021, he leads Argentina to a Copa America triumph, breaking a 28-year drought for his country. And finally, in 2022, came the ultimate catharsis, scoring twice in the final and willing his team to win the World Cup in Qatar, cementing his legacy once and for all. And all of that, the medical hurdles, the napkin contract, the heartbreak, the triumphs, brings us to this number, 46. Across his stints with Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, Inter Miami, and the Argentina national team, Messi has hoisted 46 team trophies. That officially makes him the single most decorated player in the entire history of professional football. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this final thought. With the GOAT debate pretty much settled, are we ever going to see another player conquer the odds quite like Lionel Messi? It really forces us to ask ourselves, how often do we let our own disadvantages define us, instead of using them as fuel to rise? Thanks so much for tuning in, and keep questioning the incredible stories behind the statistics.